Welcome off to the web.
Welcome, everybody, back to Off the Rails podcast. This is episode number 38. I know that because we did the episode 37 yesterday, but you're not going to hear that today right after. You're going to hear this when you're hearing this now, which is on a Wednesday, and it's awesome. And just like the last episode, I'm going to say it again. I think we might have just had our best episode again, Jems.
Yeah, these last two that we've done have been incredible. Like Brad, which was released last week.
Yeah.
And Tyler, which will be released, you're listening to now. Fantastic. I couldn't have asked for either one to go any better. Amazing. Other than this one, I missed like 10 minutes of it because I was switching computers. So I went from a nice green screen background to all my kids' play stuff.
Yeah.
My wife goes, "Why are you showing that part of the basement?" I was like,
"It's okay. It's okay. It's great. It's this interview is so." This interview is so great that you won't even realize that Jems has all that stuff behind him because that interview is just so great.
I tried to blur it out, but like it was so fuzzy. Like obviously blurring it is fuzzy, but without the green screen, it was like I had no ears, so it looked funny.
Yeah, it was kind of funny, but anyway, our episode today, you've obviously read it because you've downloaded the episode. Is with Tyler Gillum, and he is the head coach of the Savannah Bananas. And then also, why did I just blank the
South
college
Mountain
team?
Community College?
I almost said East Mountain. I almost said East Mountain, but South Mountain.
Close. A directional mountain school.
Yes. South Mountain Community College in Phoenix, Arizona. We talked a lot of Savannah Bananas on this episode. If you don't know what the Savannah Bananas is, you're much like I was about a week ago before I realized what the Savannah Bananas were. And I am in love. You'll probably see a Savannah Bananas hat on me in future episodes because I am definitely buying a Savannah Bananas hat. They are my new favorite baseball team, probably.
You might see a video of Tone and I throwing a banana.
Yes, crossing off bucket list items. Tyler was a great interview. We talked a lot about baseball, which, as you know, if you've listened to any episodes of this podcast, me and Jems were in heaven. We love talking baseball. So Tyler was a great interview. And I don't want to keep you from the interview. So I'm going to let you get into the interview right after Jems says whatever Jems wants to say before we launch into this interview.
Listen to the entire thing. It's great.
It's awesome. All right. Welcome, Tyler.
Tonight,
to the show.
We welcome Tyler Gillum. He is the associate head coach at South Mountain Community College and the manager of the Savannah Bananas Collegiate Summer Baseball team of the Coastal Plains League. The Bananas have two teams now, right? There's like a Globetrotter-esque team with Eric Burns, and then you're the team that's in the actual Coastal Plains League, right?
That's it, man. That's it. So we just started the pro team this past spring, and Burnsy's our new head coach for the manager for the pro team, and then I coach the summer team. Yep.
So
that's crazy.
I mean, that's like the perfect fit for that pro team is Eric Burns.
He's an absolute riot all the time, so it fits in perfect. Yeah. So if one of our big sayings with the Bananas is if it's normal, do the exact opposite. So there's a lot of craziness involved all the time. So yeah, that's right up Burns' alley.
I know. I was going to say I know. At one point, we were trying to get Burns on the podcast because he just has an interesting story. That dude does crazy stuff. So we're definitely big fans of that.
So with Eric Burns, did they reach out to him, or did he just like, hey guys, I would like to coach that?
Yeah, so we're always looking at different people, really around the country in the baseball world that fit into what we do and how we're a little bit different. And he's always kind of been up there as one of those guys that he fits what we do. He played hard, he played fast, he would do some crazy things on MLB Network, and he started doing a no filter podcast, like this no filter streaming that he does, coaching his kids' baseball team basically. And he'd be mic'd up and, but they do a lot of the things that we do from a summer collegiate standpoint. As I've got a base running system called the Green Light Special. We give our guys a lot of freedom to run bases, make decisions on their own. We like to play aggressive versus passive. And he's got a lot of those same thought mentalities. And how it all came together, I think it started through Twitter. And then Barry, our director of baseball operations, Barry Aldridge, and then our owner, Jesse Cole, started connecting with Burns. And then from there, me and him got on a couple Zoom podcasts and basically kind of chopped it up. We broke it down what the Bananas are all about. And then here he is a couple months later, and he's going to be our manager for the pro team.
That's really cool. Have you been the manager since their inception, or did you come a couple years into it?
A couple years into it. So our inception was 2016. So 2016, our first head coach was Sean West. Sean's originally a Georgia guy. I met him through working camps back in like 2009, 2010 when I first started coaching. So he has the first head coaching gig there in 2016. They actually won the CPL championship in their inaugural year. And then he coached there in 17. And basically we stayed in touch. I saw some of the crazy stuff that they were doing at that time, and I was aware. But what happened was his wife ended up getting pregnant. Sean's wife ended up getting pregnant, and he couldn't go back and coach the team in 2018. So they basically said, hey, Sean, who do you think would be a good fit? Who do you think would be able to talk in front of 5,000 people that would think outside the box with us and do some things that are a little bit not normal? And he was like, man, I think Tyler's a good fit. And so we got on the phone from there. And it sounded like a good situation. I got on the phone with our owner, Jesse Cole, and really our first conversation, we kind of hit it off from, we listen to the same podcast. We read a lot of the same types of books. We're very forward thinking, and, we like to have fun in general, but we're very competitive in our fields of trying to be the best at whatever we do. And so, that's kind of how we hit it off. And then my first summer was 2018.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, definitely. I listened to actually in preparation for this, I listened to a podcast with you and the owner. I thought it was pretty awesome. And you said some things in there that really, I guess, a little bit about us. Like, we both played college baseball. We're both pitchers, left-handed guys, and we definitely enjoy the sport. It's like it's our favorite sport. Most people, it's if it's not baseball, it's something else, for them. But yeah, we're diehard baseball fans. So I love the fact that you were like talking a lot about like not necessarily prioritizing winning, the winning will come and stuff like that. Is that, I guess, going to starting just kind of off into your coaching mentality? I guess, like what do you guys prioritize, or what do you prioritize, especially in something like different from like the college to the Savannah Bananas, where obviously it's a show, but it's also like you're trying to win, obviously, because you guys won last year. So I guess just a little breakdown, I guess, difference between them, and then also some similarities.
Yeah. So when I first took the job with Jesse, Jesse told me, straight out of the rack, like his goal was to have the best entertainment in sports and have the best sporting fan experience in sports, and so I understood where his vision was and what his mission was as an owner. They were already selling out crowds. We've sold out 150 straight games dating back to 2016. And so I understood what he was trying to achieve from that standpoint. And at that time, for me, I coached in the Cape Cod League. I coached in the Texas Collegiate League. We won 3 TCL championships there. And so I was kind of looking for a new challenge. And I thought at that time that we could combine the entertainment and the baseball. So where I'm, my philosophy of coaching, I want to develop and dogpile. Like, those are my two things. I want to develop and dogpile. I want to develop guys to get where they want to go, Division I baseball or pro baseball, whatever it is for them. And I want to dogpile at the end of the year. Like, that's the roots of who I am. And, and so I don't want to go away from that. So it's not always just entertainment for me. I want to get these guys to be as good as they possibly can be from a talent standpoint. And so my goal was, hey, let's see if we can combine these. You want the best entertainment, and I want to be able to develop and dogpile. Can we combine these and have the best of everything? And so really this past year, all those things came together. We were 40-10. We had multiple CPL All-Stars. We started the summer 11-0, but also we had like 10 videos get over 1 million views. We killed it on the entertainment side too. We sold out every single game. And so that was kind of the gist of it. In Banana Land, one of the sayings that we have is create, never forget moments. Every single game is somebody's first banana game. And so when they walk through those gates, have them have a moment that they'll never forget in their life. And you have some baseball moment of like a professional game or something that you went to, and you're like, I got an autograph, or I talked to my favorite player. Like, we all have that moment, right? Like, you're thinking about it right now.
Yeah, for sure. I have plenty of them. It's crazy. I mean, like I said, massive baseball fan. I mean, my family took a summer road trip. We lived in my military brat, but like when I was like a teenager, we lived in Virginia Beach. My parents still live there, but we traveled down to South Carolina, and we hit every single minor league stadium on the way. So like we have those moments. Aubrey Huff gave us a broken bat one time. We had Mike Lowell signed autographs for us, like fresh off like coming back from cancer, like stuff like that. Like, I mean, have plenty of those. I mean, even up to my son being born, he's 4. Like 2 days before he was born, we were at a Rockies game because I live in Colorado, and the outfielder threw the ball, and it was coming right at my pregnant wife, and I made a snag, and that was the ball that's in his like first picture. So yeah, baseball is like intertwined with like. That's it. So I totally get that, and especially like just seeing the videos. I mean, it's incredible, and really like what I tell people that I know that aren't fans of necessarily baseball, or they're like, it's too slow, or it's not fun, or X, Y, and Z, is like, that's like what you guys are doing is like really like awesome, because I bet you it's making more fans of people who are potentially could be like that. And we all know, like, I mean, how great the game is. So, I mean, if you're just watching baseball, and you enjoy it and you understand it, you know what's up. So seeing the videos, I want to go see a game in person. So
yeah, it's definitely, everybody always asks, like, explain Banana Land, and it's really hard to explain all the little nuances that go on, because there's so much that goes on all at once. It's really, I think the best way to explain it is it's a circus, and then a baseball game breaks out. Yeah. There's music playing all the time. There's characters everywhere. We have the Banana Nanas, our senior citizens dance crew, dancing all over the place. We have our first base dancing coach. We have our owner wearing a yellow suit talking to everybody in the stands. We have our host who wears a cheetah suit. There's constant. You got Shark on the mic. Like there's so much stuff going on, but it's all about creating those never forget moments. And what we try to do before we take BP every single night at home, we talk to those guys about, okay, how are we going to create a never forget moment on the field, and how are we going to create never forget moments for fans in the stands? And that might be a little kid that's waiting by the gate, and one of our players goes and grabs him and takes him to the outfield, and they start playing catch. Yeah. Or that might be signing autographs or giving bats away. We give roses out to little girls and grandmas in the 4th inning, right? And so it's constant entertainment. It's constant entertainment, but it's fun along the way. But we're competitive and fun. That's the kind of guys I'm trying to find, guys that are highly competitive, but they like having fun too. Definitely. And I love that this is so we started, it was funny, a little bit inside baseball, started with a little technical difficulties. It's my favorite thing in the world that Jems just had to do essentially computer pitching change. So he just switched so it cracks me up that happened during our baseball podcast. It looks like you made it into is this your room that we're seeing in the background right here?
So my other computer is literally right on the other side of a studded wall for me, but I have a green screen there. And so I have our desktop set up over here, but all the kids' crap is right behind us. Perfect. So, yeah. So now it's my kids' playroom background. So it's pretty awesome. It's I mean, it's epically perfect. I was going to ask you, so one of my things, so I guess it doesn't really matter for me, like what the situation is. I'm like, if I'm on a baseball field and having fun, I'm always smiling. If I'm near a baseball field, my son's 4. Like I previously mentioned, he's been hitting off a tee since before it was like he could walk. Like, I mean, kids like, I mean, he's named after
Ryan Sandberg, RYNE. So he's my wife's a giant Cubs fan. I'm a Tigers fan, but I kind of adapted the Cubs. This dude over here is a Sox fan. So, but his wife's a Cubs fan. So we're going to drag him to Wrigley at some point.
I'm the only White Sox fan in like the entire family. So,
but how does that, that fun, I mean, that's got to be like almost an over like stimulating fun sometimes when you're out there, and then to go back to like coaching at the college level, does it take like a switch for you to like flip over, or do you take some of that exuberant fun over to the college and use it as a competitive advantage?
The Bananas is definitely crazy. I mean, when you got 4,000 fans, you got music playing all the time. It's just a different environment, right? And we have a lot of different goals within that environment too. Obviously, we want to win, but you're playing every single day. That's another scenario with it. So you're not really practicing. The only practice you're getting is early work and then BP. So it looks a little bit different. Just the goals are a little bit different than college baseball, right? When you go through the fall, like you're lifting 4 days a week. The biggest thing I think that I've taken from the Bananas and added to our college team is like trying to do incentives for our guys. And so we've got shirts at South Mountain that say RE19, and RE19 stands for Relentless Effort 1 through 9 areas of life. And so those 9 areas of life, you're trying to be as good as you possibly can be in those 9 areas. And if we get 9 guys that have those shirts by the end of our spring season, and they're all in our lineup, then we got a chance to be pretty good because all those guys are really disciplined. So it's the incentives piece. With the Bananas, that's probably one of the things that I learned from Jesse, our owner, more than anything, is figure out incentives to give the players. And we give guys all kinds of things. We give away hats. We've got a shirt that says "Flip the Switch" on it. And so "Flip the Switch" is our motto of going from the entertainment back to the baseball, back to the entertainment, back to the baseball in a flip of a switch without a loss of enthusiasm or focus. And so guys that hit really well or play really well in the games, they pitch well, and they do something on the entertainment side that's really good, I give them a flip the switch shirt in front of the whole team. So that's one of the big incentives we do. I gave them a challenge this past year, this past summer, and they ended up rattling off 11 games in the first 11 games. And so we started the year off 11-0, and they said, "Hey, Gillum, if we get to 10-0, buy us a case of Bang energy drinks." So we had Bang energy drinks in the locker room. We won the first half, so that's a big deal. If you win the first half, then you clinch home field for the playoffs.
Oh, that's awesome.
So when we clinched the first half, the front office ended up getting the guys pit vipers. So we had yellow pit vipers that we gave the guys. So pit vipers kind of hooked us up a little bit. So all the guys were wearing those things last year. They were kind of in. I guess they're kind of still in.
They definitely are still in. I'm gonna after we leave here, I'm gonna go to a high school basketball game, and the best part, the thing I love the most, and it's kind of like what I see with you guys is like the whole baseball team will be out to support the basketball team in the playoffs. You can spot the baseball players. I mean, like my wife loves baseball. She's a huge baseball fan. She's like, that kid plays baseball. That kid plays baseball. You can just tell. I mean, they all got pit vipers on. Most of them have mullets now. Apparently, that's a big thing.
That's coming back, baby. Yep. You got to tell my wife that, because we've got an 18-month-old little boy, and he had a mullet going. We were rocking the mullet. He just cut it. She's like, I can't do this anymore. I'm like,
no, my son. My son's got the faux hawk, but I keep trying to let her get the mullet. Jems had a mullet like less than 2 years ago.
Last year at this time, I had a mullet, and now this year I have a mustache. So like next year, I'm thinking of putting them all together.
Mullet and mustache.
We do have they do like the kids to be clean shaven on the team, but I guess that doesn't apply to us as coaches. So I double checked that. I mean, I don't mind shaving the mustache. It was a joke when I grew it. We were watching Ted Lasso. But my wife didn't hate it, so I've just kept it for like 6 months now.
I mean, it works for him. By the way, Jems is a volunteer firefighter. Also, like we believe he's the head tennis coach, and he also coaches baseball, as well as he's just like the manliest dude ever. it works in like a steel mill and stuff. So, I mean, he's like the all-American dude. It's like crazy, but
I like it when he goes over this stuff. It makes me feel good about myself.
So he's got the cool mustache to go with the whole thing. I mean, it fits with what you do. So
it plays.
So the college you coach at is in Phoenix, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah. So I Colorado right up the road. I mean, we're like kind of like in the same ballpark. I think I'm talking to people on the East Coast, so it's nice to have somebody in the same time zone. Maybe I don't know if it's daylight saving time. I think Arizona is one of the few that doesn't switch, so we might still be in different time zones, but I don't really know. But yeah, how's the heat there when you're playing? Because I know it's hot.
So in August and September, it's pretty hot. Yeah. So August, September, we're going to see some 115s. October, it starts cooling down a little bit. Once we get into December, it's going to be at nights. It'll get down to like 35, 40, but it'll be at 75 at noon. So you'll be back in shirts and t-shirts. So,
Nice.
yeah. So. Right now, it's actually the hottest day it's been this spring so far. It was like 87 today.
Oh, wow.
But not too bad so far. The spring's usually legit until we start hitting later April, May, and it'll start seeing some hundreds from there. But it's been good, man. It's been good.
That's way cool. It's nice to have nice weather to play baseball. We were just talking about how like before you hopped on, we were talking about you're from Oklahoma originally, and we were like, I was like looking up Oklahoma players from major leagues, and I was like, man, there's more people from Oklahoma than I thought. And then Jems made a good point, which is the weather's probably pretty nice year round, as compared to like Colorado. I don't think we have as many good baseball players that come from here. Probably because it's cold 95% of the year. So I wonder if that has to play. Obviously, some of the better teams are playing nicer weather where they can kind of hone those skills year round.
Yeah, I would say we get some Colorado guys that come play for us at South Mountain. So there's some good players there. I don't think there's as many probably. One thing that I think Oklahoma has going for it that's different than a lot of other states is the small schools in Oklahoma play fall baseball. So they actually have a fall state tournament. They have a fall season. And I played at one of those high schools, Latta High School. It's a small 2A high school. So we'd play a fall season, have a state tournament, then we'd have a spring season and have a state tournament. Then we'd play Legion Ball in the summer. So we were really getting three seasons in for all of our high school career. And so I think that's a big reason where you see a lot of small school baseball guys that are pretty good in Oklahoma because they get a lot of reps in.
Definitely, yeah. That's awesome.
Do they play the fall season because there's no football team, or how is that just another sport that they have?
Yep. No, majority of the small schools don't have football. And so the example would be like, I'm from Ada, Oklahoma, and it's like 17,000 people. Ada is the biggest high school in our area. So it's like a 5A high school. They have football. So if you want to play football, you go to Ada. But the surrounding schools around Ada, which is Ada, Roth, Bing, Tupelo, Stonewall, some of these other schools, they're all like Class A, Class 2A high schools. And they all play fall baseball because none of us have football.
So I think I read you won 4 state championships when you were in high school. Were those all spring, or are they a mix of both fall and spring?
Yeah, mix. So my freshman fall, we went 33-0 and won the state championship then.
And good start to high school.
What's that?
So that's a good start to high school.
That's not bad. We were actually supposed to suck. That's the whole thing about it. That's what makes the story really good. We graduated 11 seniors the year before. So
wow.
We actually only had 2-3 seniors on the team my freshman year. So all of the guys that graduated, they were all telling us, oh, you guys are going to suck. You guys aren't going to win baseball games. And the thing with that was we started winning. We were young, but we were really talented. And we started winning. Our head coach, who actually is he just became the winningest high school coach in high school baseball history in the country. He's got over 2,126 wins. So crazy.
That's crazy.
But anyway, we started becoming pretty good. And one of the things with that was we would start run rolling some people. And so the standard started being, if you didn't run roll the other team within 5 innings, then you guys were running after the game. And so, yeah, we'd be beating somebody like 8-0, but we didn't run roll them until the 10th or the 6th inning. And okay, we got to go run some polls after that. So that was the standard. That was kind of my initiation. Like, hey, if you want to be really good, you got to have a higher standard than everybody else. And anyway, we won one in the fall, went 33-0. And then I won my sophomore, junior, and senior springs. So back to back springs.
Oh, that's awesome. So me and Jems were looking it up. Obviously, you just said 17,000 people kind of area. Any of the players you play with like move on to the next level, or was it just did they go play football? I mean, I know a lot of those Oklahoma guys do both. I know like Josh Fields. I remember he played at Oklahoma State.
Yep,
stuff
he's
like
a Stillwater
that.
guy.
Yeah, so those
Matt Holiday, Stillwater guy too.
Yeah.
So, probably one of the most famous guys that was from Ada is Nick Blackburn. He was the Twins' 5th starter for about 5 years. Good dude, played at Seminole, played at OU, but was in the Twins organization for a long time. Blake Shelton's from there, so big country guy, right? So he's from Ada, Oklahoma. So we all know Blake, and he definitely sports that mullet, boys. But he's good old country dude. Like he's what you see on TV. Like that's who he is. He's laid back dude.
He seems like he'd be more of a football basketball guy. I don't know.
He's tall, I think, isn't he?
Yeah, he's pretty tall. He's probably like 6'3" or something like that. He's all about hunting and fishing. That's how I met him. One of my best friends in high school is his cousin, and so like I had Thanksgiving with him one time, and this was before he got big, and most of the time we were just in the shed looking at the deer that he just shot. Like that was, he's a big hunting fishing guy, and so,
that's awesome.
But I played with 2 guys in high school that got to play pro ball. They were cousins, Brad and Drew Miller. Drew was with the Padres organization. He was up to like 96, 97. He was a pitcher. And then Brad Miller was a shortstop in the Brewers organization for a little bit. So those were the 2 guys that from our high school team that played some pro ball.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, sometimes just having quality across the board. I mean, all like you were saying earlier. If you get your 1 through 9 all on board, I mean, you can just have a run. We had the opposite problem you had when you came in. So we were the 10 seniors that were leaving. So my senior year, we were runner up for state. So we never quite got there, but it was that we left them with not much left there
in the tank.
and they did suck after we left. But yeah, Jems, how did you fare in high school?
We blew it in our sectional championship game my senior year. Junior year, we weren't as good as we should have been. I don't know. So the coach that I played for then, compared to the coach that's there now that I'm coaching with, it's like 2 totally different worlds. Like there's a lot more, I don't want to say caring, but like there's so much more in-depth stuff that we're going through now. And it could just be the way the game has changed since I was in high school 10 years ago. 14 years ago. And
felt like 10 though. Felt like 10.
Yeah, it seems like 10.
Yep.
But I don't know. I think having the coach that we have now, if we would have had him a decade ago, I think our team would have probably fared a lot better. It was now practices we were done by like 4:30, so 2:30 to 4:30 ish. Now it's like 5:30. We're spending 3 hours. They have mental meetings. So right now we can only practice 2 days a week. They got weights 2 days a week, and then mental meetings 2 days a week. So like there's something every night of the week. And it's all quality stuff. I've been super impressed since I came back to the program.
That's awesome.
That's crazy. That kind of actually led perfectly, Jems. Thank you. Perfectly into. I was going to say from one of my questions was, how have you seen the game change kind of from like when you played now to, obviously, the the Bananas seem like we have the age old debate, flip bats, don't flip bats, have fun. I think me and Jems are both team make baseball as fun as humanly possible, because that's what we want. We want more people to watch the sport and love the sport. So how have you seen it, I guess, through your own eyes change though, since player to coach and going forward?
Yeah, definitely the amount of information that's out there. The guys that are playing today, they can get information all over the place. There's so many, with YouTube and Google and Twitter, there's so much information that's, if they want to learn, it's out there. Now, is it all good? No, it's just like anything else that we can learn from. You have to filter out some things and figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And so I think that's the biggest thing with this generation now, is filtering out what works and what doesn't work. I think in the past, we had kind of a narrow funnel of where we could get information from and learn. I played college ball 06 to 09. And so we could get some information from the internet at that time, but it definitely wasn't even close to what it is now. And so technology is the main thing that's changed overall. I think there is getting a more of a relaxed sense of letting players have fun, let them play the game, bat flips, showing off, that kind of type of thing a little bit more, versus in the past. It was always, if anybody stood there too long, they were getting dotted. There was no doubt about it, the next time they came up. And so I think it's changed a little bit from that standpoint. The way we look at it with the Bananas is, what do fans want to come see? So everything revolves all the way back to the fans. Every decision we make with the Bananas is it Fans First Entertainment? And that's what our LLC name is Fans First Entertainment. So that question's asked a lot in our in the offices a lot. Anytime we change anything or do anything new, that might be tickets, that might be merchandise sales. We got rid of all of our advertising on our outfield walls 2 years ago, right before COVID hit, actually. So it was really smart. Jesse always says, yeah, that was really smart of me. I got rid of all the advertising and COVID hit, so we were screwed. But what happened when he got rid of the advertising, the next 6 months, we doubled our revenue within merchandise. And so everything that we do is fans first, and that's kind of how we go about our business and all the decisions we make with the organization.
That's super. That's awesome.
Is Jesse does he have a baseball background, or is he obviously he's got a business background of some sort? What's his background, I guess?
Yeah, so he's from Boston. His dad grew up with a facility in Boston. And so he grew up around the game. He played college baseball at Wofford. He pitched at Wofford there in North Carolina. And so he pitched at Wofford, Division I, and then he actually went and coached in the Cape Cod League with Mike Roberts one year with Katuitt. And that's kind of where he decided, hey, the coaching thing's not for me. I think I want to have a different effect on the game. And so he always looked at the game as he looked at it from a different lens. Fans need to be entertained more. It needs to be more fun. It needs to be faster. He's always kind of had that thought process. His first job that he got inside baseball, he was 23 years old, and the CPL gave him Gastonia Grizzlies because it was a failing team. And he jokes, he's like, yeah, nobody else gives you an opportunity to be a GM of a team at 23 unless they're failing. So he took them from being basically in debt $100,000 every summer and completely flipped that on its head. And they were making a lot of money. They were selling out crowds. I think they ended up having I think their sellout at that small stadium is 2,000 or 2,500 or something, but they were doing some of the crazy stuff that you see now in Gastonia. It just wasn't as big, and they just didn't have as much full-time people working with the social media and the video crew that we have now. Right now, we have 22 full-time people that work inside the Bananas office, and that's more than any other minor league team. So that's pretty crazy from that standpoint when you look at it. It was just a summer team, and I don't know, in 2018, I think we had 14 full-time people, and now we have 22. So it's continuing to grow, and that's it, man.
That's awesome. I was gonna say, so with the pro team and the college team that you guys have, are you guys I guess this could just be nothing, but with the major league teams obviously striking on now, we're going to have a delayed start to the season, at least at best. Yep. Do you guys expect anything to be any different for you guys? I mean, like you said, I think you said when Jems was off, you sold like 150 straight games in a row out or something like so. Like you guys are obviously, you can't sell more tickets, but I mean, I guess you could put more seats in. But I guess like other than that, though, I mean, like, do you guys expect it to be a busier than usual, like, season?
I don't know if it's going to be busier because it's jam packed every night. There's people in Savannah that when my friends come in to see me in Savannah and they Uber to the field. I can't tell you how many times I've heard this story. The Uber driver always says, "Dude, you're going to a Bananas game? I heard those games are awesome. I've never been able to get tickets because they're always sold out." So you can't buy a ticket at the box office, or at the will call. You can't walk up and buy a ticket. That does not happen. They're completely sold out. And so if you look at our world tour that we're about to start March 11th and 12th, I think every one of those games are sold out right now. We're going to 7 different cities. Every
awesome.
one of those games are sold out except maybe 1 or 2. And there's only like 200 tickets left at those 2 places. They put that social media post out yesterday, I believe. There's only 200 tickets left. And some of those stadiums are 10,000 people. We're going to Kansas City May 6th and 7th, and we're playing the Kansas City Monarchs. So they're an independent team. And so anyway, we're going there. We were just going to play on a Friday night game, and it sold out in like seconds. And it actually broke our servers and everything else. And so they added another game, and both of those games are already sold out. So it's pretty crazy from that standpoint, man. I think it's a new way. When we go to those cities for the World Tour, we're playing banana ball. So the banana ball rules are different. There's no bunting. You can steal first if there's a pass ball. If a fan catches a foul ball, the hitter's out. There's no stepping out. There's no mound visits. It's a 2-hour time limit. And so it's a different way to look at the game. It's got its own twist to it. And so a lot of fans really took it on last spring when we played in Mobile, and that was our first initial Banana Ball World Tour. We called it the One City World Tour. So that was our first test to see if it would work. We went to Mobile, Alabama, and we sold out 2 games, a Friday night game and a Saturday night game. And it just went absolutely crazy. And so, I don't know if it's going to get I don't think we're going to sell any more tickets than but I'll say this. I don't know if you guys have seen the new show Reacher on Amazon Prime or Netflix, whichever one it is.
Yeah, I've seen it.
There's a guy on episode 1 and episode 5 that's wearing banana shirt. I've probably got 200 text messages of that scene in that show or whatever. Like, dude, this is unbelievable. So it's definitely growing. I think we'll definitely go to a bunch of different cities over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I think we'll be in probably like 25 cities here in the next 5 years.
That's way cool. That's the stuff we like. I know, like, as baseball fans, we love to see, because I mean, even what you've just explained, like, it being slightly different rules, it still has the premise of baseball, like, and it's and so, like, anything to bring a new generation in, especially, like, I mean, I'm all for it. I mean, you never know what's, there's rules back in like the turn of the century, 1800, that are completely different now. The game evolves, so you never know where the game's going.
No doubt.
Were you involved in the creation of Banana Ball? Did you guys just have just start coming up with ideas and then eventually settle on like the 8 or 9 that worked?
Yeah. So back in 2019, as a summer team, what you see majority of summer baseball teams do is in the off season, they got to figure out how to make money. So you've got your summer season for 3 months of the year, and then the other 9 months, you got to figure out how to survive, basically. So the Bananas did all the things in the off season that everybody else does. They had concerts, they had 5Ks, they had a food truck event, like they had all these things. And so in 2019, Jesse and our front office, Jared Orton, our president, and Barry Aldridge, our president of baseball operations, we all kind of got together and they were like, hey, we're really good at the baseball side of things. How do we do the baseball side of things year round? And that's where we started kicking around the idea of possibly having a pro team. And then it's always been in Jesse's head to figure out how to make the game faster. His thing is, when you go to a movie and you go watch a movie, you don't leave before the movie's over. You stay till the movie's over and then you leave. And so he's like, majority of time you go watch baseball games, people leave in the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th inning before the game is even over. And so that's always been his one thing that he's trying to solve. And that's what he thinks he's done a good job at, of creating Banana Ball. Basically, it's a 2-hour time limit. It's high intensity. It's a circus the whole time. You never know what you're going to expect. You're definitely going to see some things you've never seen on a baseball field before. And so the start of it, we're kind of trying to throw around ideas and figure out how the game could be faster and more entertaining. And that's how those Banana Ball rules came up with. So
I like it. No, I definitely like that. I mean, I could definitely envision it in my head how it could be. Obviously, like almost like a traveling circus, sort of like of baseball. So, like, I could definitely
compare it to like the Globetrotters, kind of.
Yeah. So that's what I was trying to think. Like the Globetrotters meets the circus, sort of, but like with obviously with the Globetrotters, you have that athletic aspect to it, which is great.
That's it.
Yeah, that's dope. So like I know, like I was thumbing through, and I know Jem sent me one too. Do you have like a lot of like I don't know the state of Georgia as well as I should know the state of Georgia, but like is there another big city around Savannah, like where like I saw the one that Jem sent me was like Bert Kreischer was taking batting practice and stuff like that. We love Bert on this podcast. But yeah, like, do you guys have that often? Like, people want to come and see it firsthand, or is that just?
Yeah. So the main biggest city that's close to us is Atlanta. It's like 3.5. Okay. But if you look at from a vacation standpoint, Hilton Head's not very far away, so a lot of people come vacation there. And then we have the beach 25 minutes away from our stadium on Tybee Island. And there's a lot of history in Savannah. There's a lot of movies that are filmed in Savannah, like Forrest Gump was filmed in Savannah. So there's a lot of people that come there just to vacation in itself. And now it's really been an attraction to, come in and come see the Bananas along the way. So a lot of people, they plan like 6 months ahead of time to come to games and make sure they get on the waiting list. So, if they're coming in June, they're able to get tickets ahead of time. And so if you don't plan ahead, like, it's really hard to get tickets. Right now, I think our summer schedule's like 75% sold out of all our games. Wow. It's March,
That's super. That's crazy awesome. Actually, as I was just saying that, I was like, I probably should know where Savannah's at. So I produce podcasts outside of this as well. So I produce podcasts for 2 NFL players, Antoine Bethea and Darius Butler. And Antoine Bethea was born in Savannah, Georgia. I don't know why in my brain I just remembered that. But yeah. Awesome. And I grew up in Virginia Beach, so I was like, I've been to Hilton Head, like, I don't know, probably like 7-8 times. So yeah, definitely.
It's about 45, 50 minutes from us. So it's a little bit of a drive, but there's a lot of people all my friends come watch us play and go to Hilton Head. That's
yeah.
Kind of the thing.
Yeah, definitely. They got some world-class golf courses there. I don't know if you golf or not, but nice golf courses in Hilton Head. Yeah, I mean, I'm so impressed by and it's crazy too, like with baseball, like you feel like if you're a fan, you know everything. I honestly hadn't really even like heard of it until kind of Jems brought it onto my radar, and I was like, man, this is like the coolest thing ever. I definitely like it's definitely now on my bucket list of things I want to go do. And do you guys throw out bananas instead of?
Oh yeah, we don't throw out the first pitch. We throw out the first banana.
I was gonna say I thought I saw that. That's also on my bucket list. I don't know if it's on Jems's, but at some point I want to get famous.
To throw out a banana.
To throw out a first pitch. If it's a banana, I'll take it. But I mean,
Yeah, I would love to do that too.
We can make that happen, boys. We can make that dream come true.
Yes.
That's
awesome.
Yeah. So some of the crazy stuff we do. One is before the game we have a script every night. So we have a director of entertainment and a director of fun. They bring me a script at 2:00. It's usually about 1:30. I take that script and it has all the entertainment on it. So I put that into an Excel spreadsheet and I put in all my baseball activities that I have for the guys, BP, early work, anything else that happens in the game. And so I basically mirror those and put those together. And then I slot all of our guys' names into basically jobs for the night. So, you 4 guys are doing the YMCA. You guys are doing the bananas in the pants in the 6th inning. You guys are doing the YMCA in the 7th. You guys are doing the dancing with grandmas in the 8th. So I map it all out. That's where Flip the Switch comes in, trying to go from entertainment to baseball. But a couple things we do before the game. One is we throw out the first banana. We don't throw out the first pitch. And then we have the home run hitter. So we usually have a 6-7-year-old that ends up hitting off of a tee, and all the baseball players, they throw the ball around, let him get a home run, and then hold him up in front of all the fans, and so he gets to kind of, be pumped up in front of everybody. And then we take a 6-month-old or younger baby and we put them in a banana suit, and the mom or dad comes up on home plate, and the baseball players kind of do a half moon around the player on their knees, and they do spirit fingers, and they hold the kid up in this banana suit, and Shark, our PA guy, sings the Lion King, the ha, and everybody loves it. They think that's the hilarious thing they've ever seen. There's actually moms that will call into the front office and sign their unborn child up to be the banana baby in the future.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's incredible. When our oldest got confirmed, or I don't know, whatever they do at the church, that's what I did. I held her up like that as soon as he did the thing. I was like, oh.
That's so funny. That kind of actually led to I think one of the big questions I wanted to ask was, so these are obviously the players on the field. They're players. And so how do you go about selecting the team and putting the team together, knowing that there is the entertainment portion as well, but you also still want the product good on the field? Like, is that something that you have to kind of especially look for? I assume there's got to be a ton of people that want to be Savannah Bananas. I mean, it seems like it would be the greatest job in the world. So
yeah, so there's probably about 1,000 players that either send emails or DMs, that reach out, send texts, whatever, find my number, call me, that want to play. So the hard thing is filtering out who can actually play and entertain and who just wants to be on social media, because there's a lot of kids that maybe they're the goofball on the team, but they're not very good. And so I got to filter that out. So a lot of these things, like if you don't win and you're not winning's not, or losing's not fun. So you gotta win baseball games, right? And so it goes hand in hand. Like if we're having fun on the field, it helps winning, but also winning helps having fun too as well. So it goes hand in hand in a lot of ways. So filtering out how I find some of these guys. I've been coaching summer baseball for 10 years, so I've kind of got my honey hole of coaches that I trust, that know who I am. They know what the Bananas are about. And so when they recommend a player for me, it's a no-brainer. So usually about a fourth of my roster comes from those guys that they reach out and they say, hey, Gillum, I got a banana for you. This guy he's through and through. He can play. He's legit. He's hardworking. He's selfless. He's an entertainer. He's outgoing. He's going to fit your mold. And so that's some of it. Some of it, I'll do a lot of research through emails that I get. I'll go through stats. I look at all the other summer leagues around the country, and I'll go through stats and see what young, good players, how they played in the summer, and possibly call those coaches and see where they're at. But I look for 5 main things. So number one, they have to be talented. Like there's so many players that want to play here. So I need to go find talent. 2, I'm looking for somebody that is hardworking, somebody that wants to be a professional baseball player. They have that drive of I want to be the best. I like being around that type of player that wants to continue to learn. I like guys that are outgoing. So that's another one that helps in a lot of ways. They don't all have to be outgoing. Sometimes they get into our environment and they understand that they can let loose a little bit better. And so they go from like the shy kid to the guy that's the most outgoing. Like we have a kid named Alex Dancing Deegan. He plays at Kentucky. He pitches at Kentucky. When he came in, his dad said, hey, he's kind of shy, but he'll open up a little bit once you get to know him. About a month later, after his dad told me that, the Banana Nanas, our senior citizens dance crew, nicknamed him Alex Dancing Deegan because he danced and entertained more than anybody else. He's supposed to be the shy guy. He's also 6'9", by the way, so you can't catch him. Yeah. So he was actually here's a day in the life of a baseball player, mainly the pitcher in a home game. So Alex Deegan he's a relief pitcher. He was our closer his freshman year. And so he came in. He would basically show up to the field. During BP, we would practice for our players' dance. So in the second inning, we have 4 players do a choreographed dance with our dancing first base coach. So they learn that during BP. So it's usually 4 pitchers. Every once in a while, I'll throw a position player in there that's not starting that night. But it's mainly 4 pitchers. So anyway, Alex Dancing Deegan wanted to do it every single night. Every night. Just throw me on there. So he played for me for 2 summers. The second summer, he was choreographing dances. Now, this is the shy guy, right? So they don't all the players don't have to be outgoing when they first get there. So anyway, so in the second inning, he's doing his dance. In the third inning, he's throwing T-shirts to fans. In the fourth inning, we hand out roses. He goes and does that. Usually in the fifth or sixth, like we have all kinds of different things that we do. He wants to do all of them. He just joins in. I don't even have to put him on the list. He just goes and does it. And so one game, we had the YMCA in the 8th inning. No, the 7th inning. So he was one of the YMCA members, one of the 4 dudes that dressed up. In the 8th inning, we have the ring dude. So it's just like a UFC match or a boxing match. There is the chick that comes out and she holds up like round number 8.
Yeah.
Our baseball players do that on the dugout, right? And so he did that, and then he sprinted to the bullpen, got warmed up, and then he closed our game. Yeah. So he went from he's the ultimate flip the switch guy.
That's awesome.
So that's one story of it, but it's a lot of work trying to put the roster together to try to figure out who's the right fit there. Got to trust a lot of guys throughout that have either played for the Bananas. I get a lot of former players that'll call me that they're like, hey, this guy is for sure a Banana, and so bring him on. And then sometimes, you're trusting coaches you haven't talked with before, and they say, hey, this guy's a leader, he's a worker, and then his stats kind of back up he's a good player, he's talented, and that's how the roster gets put together.
That's way cool. I mean, I was gonna say that's got to be a tough
yeah,
thing to figure out, at least at first. Seems like you got it down now.
What are away games like for you guys? Do you guys still do? Obviously, some of that stuff you can't do, but do you still do stuff, and do you catch flack from some of the other teams about it, or?
Yeah, so it's definitely different on the road. There's, sometimes we go play on the road and there's 20 fans in the stands, so you go playing in front of an electric crowd that's 4,000 plus people, and then you go on the road and there's only 20. And so the guys got to really figure out how to get themselves going some nights. you'll see the guys joke around a lot and start singing songs or doing dances and stuff like that, just to kind of be like, man, this place is kind of boring right now. We need to get something going. It's kind of, they're making their own energy in a lot of ways. From a like an autograph standpoint, we try to do a lot of those things before the game. So if there's little kids that are around, we'll bring them on the field, play catch with them, bring them in the dugout, hang out for a second, give them a broken bat. We try to make sure we do that on the road, but there's not as much of the entertainment. I think it's going to start getting to the point where people are going to come to our road games because the Bananas are there and they're expecting a show. And so we're filtering out how we're going to handle that basically. Because the World Tour, everybody, it's a barnstorming event, right? Like, we're going to all these different cities and putting on a show. So when the summer comes around, I think a lot of fans are going to think the same thing, because we take the World Tour happens, the Pro Ball team, we take like 3 charter buses to these cities. Everybody goes, and our entire hoopla, our entire show goes and puts on a show. And so we're seeing, I don't know exactly how that's going to be once we go to these other cities in basically our college summer season.
Are you able to go to some of these the World Tour games? I know you have obligations with South Mountain right now.
Yeah, I'm going to try to go to the Kansas City game May 6th. We'll see how that shakes up. It'll all depend on – that's playoffs for us, so it'll all depend on how well we do in the playoffs. So that 6th and 7th date will be the only possible date that I can make for the World Tour, because we're playing every Saturday. The majority of these games are Friday, Saturdays.
Cool. I was gonna say, have you guys thought about doing and I'm sure you guys have thought about doing it. Will your college team ever play the pro team as like an exhibition?
So there's some things that we're playing with a little bit in the future where that might happen.
Nice.
It hasn't physically happened yet. Our college guys have played banana ball though multiple times in front of sold out crowds. And so it happened like twice during the COVID year, because we were one of the only summer teams in the country actually playing during COVID.
Sweet.
2020, we didn't shut down. And so Georgia was kind of one of the first cities that was open there, or they stayed open for a little while. So we got lucky in a lot of ways. But we played banana ball a couple of times, and a lot of it was for us to kind of keep tweaking those rules and see what works and see what entertains fans. And we actually did that in 18, 19, 20, and then when we rolled into the World Tour, the One City World Tour there in 21, I don't know, we probably messed around with about 20, 25 games of banana ball.
That's awesome. Okay. Well, I was going to add, my other question in asking that was, would you consider dusting the glove off and playing on the pro team against your college team?
I'd make an appearance. I can make an appearance. I've made a couple of appearances in the summer when we did the banana ball stuff. I got out and pitched an inning and stuff. I gave up a tank too, by the way. We played we put together that's 2020 summer. We put together a men's league team, and so to give you guys the background of, how the Globetrotters, they go on the road and they play the Senators, right?
Yeah.
That's the team that they play. So we have the Party Animals. So our other team that we bring on the road with us is the Party Animals. So we created the Party Animals in 2020 during COVID to play more games for our summer team, because there wasn't very many teams playing.
Yeah.
And some of those guys were ex-pro guys. They were on the men's league team. So there was a college All-American that was playing on the Party Animals team. He took me deep. So, yeah.
I mean, it happens. I mean, Mark, yeah. I like that. I mean, we both pitched. I played high school ball in Virginia, and David Wright, Mark Reynolds, all those guys, Brian Zimmerman.
Yep.
Brian Zimmerman literally played on our rival team. Mark Reynolds hit a ball that's still flying somewhere, I'm sure, off me, but I don't think it's ever landed.
Play on the same team?
No, so one played for Tallwood, one played for Kellum. I was at Ocean Lakes, but we had BJ Upton and David Wright played on the same team, and then BJ Upton switched to Norfolk Catholic or something like that. And so on paper it looks like they played out two different places, but BJ Upton's junior year and David Wright's senior year they played on, and yeah. Wow.
I just found that out. I was actually in Virginia speaking at their high school clinic in December.
Yeah.
I was hanging out with some of those high school coaches, and they were like, yeah, BJ Upton and David Wright were on the same team in high school. I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
They forgot to mention.
Was Mark Reynolds not – I think that might have been their travel team.
That travel team was wild. Yeah, we had BJ Upton, Justin Upton, David Wright, Ryan Zimmerman, Mark Reynolds. We had a couple other guys that were like drafted. I think like 4 or 5 other guys that got drafted. And then a lot of times we would have Mike Kadire would come back and like help like coach us and stuff. So it was wild.
That's awesome.
Wild area. fun stuff though. But yeah, Mark Reynolds, ironically, the guy who holds like the record for striking out the most in a season, hit a bomb off me. Like that still is floating in space somewhere probably. So yeah.
Awesome.
But no, I mean, I guess I'm so enamored by, like, I just found out about the Savannah Bananas, and like I literally like went down a rabbit hole today. But it's amazing that you guys can have so much fun doing something that we all love to do, which is baseball. I guess is that something that you guys think about as far as like outside of the Bananas? Like if you guys put on a show, it brings more people into the sport, and then the sport can kind of grow. Because I think that's the problem a lot of people are having right now is like they're like, oh, it's, you know, people say it's not America's pastime. I think it's still America's pastime, but whatever. But you know, it's I think a lot of people are choosing other sports, but it seems like the more fun you can have with it, and the more fun people can see that you can have with it. So I think that's why I fell in love with it today, because I was like, man, dang, like that's exactly what me and Jems have talked about. Like the sport's so fun, so it's great that you guys are doing something that shows how fun it can be.
Yeah, I think that's, you know, from a fan's perspective, something that I found out in 2018 when I first took the job is we had a bunch of season ticket holders that would come down after the games, and that's another thing that we do with the Bananas. So we degreet after every game. So after every game, I have like a 1-minute talk with the team, and we go straight to the plaza and we shake everybody's hands, high five everybody, and say, hey, thanks for coming to the game. And then our band is playing, and it's about a 45-minute just party out front in the plaza. So that's another cool thing that we do.
Awesome.
But anyway, when we do that, I have fans come up to me all the time that are like, hey, I don't really like baseball, but I love coming to Bananas games. And that's where like kind of a light bulb went off for me a little bit, is like, you know, these people like there's people that have Savannah Bananas tattoos. There's a dude that has his beard that says Bananas in it. Like there's all these people that are just eat up with the Bananas, and some of these people come and say, hey, we're not real big baseball fans, but we love the Bananas. And so like there's something to that, right? And a lot of it's fun, it's entertaining, but I think it's creating an environment that you know, they feel like they're a part of it. They feel like they're part of the family. They feel like they're inclusive to it. And I'll say this, man, like our customer service is pretty good. We have a general admission ticket that's $25. It's all you can eat, and you can sit anywhere. And so when you come to a game, it's $25 ticket, and you go through the line that has hamburgers, hot dogs, popcorn, water, soda drinks, and you can eat all those for free for $25. And then you can go in the grandstands, and as long as you get there at 5:30 when the gates open, you can sit wherever you want.
Yeah.
So it's an awesome setup from that standpoint. And then on top of that, you get to meet all the players. You get to hang out with all the players. So we break down the wall between fan and player, where you don't get to do that at the major league level a lot of times, or a lot of sports levels. It seems like the players are too far away. You don't ever get to shake their hand or be around them or anything. Where it's the complete opposite with our guys. Like they're complete. We're connected with the fans really, really well.
That's something that's so important, and I think that a lot of people don't realize. So like I coach my daughters; they play AAU basketball, 13, 14. I just took them two and two of their friends, and we went 2 years ago, but we went to University of Colorado, watched them play Oregon. Not a ton of people in the stands. It's a college sport. It's, it's tough, even whatever. Tickets aren't bad. We sat right behind the bench, and both times, the players, the star players on the teams too, like came out and like, they took pictures with the girls, and like, I haven't stopped. My daughters haven't stopped talking about it for 2 years. And then we went back this time, and I was like, hey, don't expect it to happen again. I don't know if it'll happen again. And sure enough, it did. But, it just makes them more pumped to go back, So I think just that little, like, especially like a little kid, a little 3, 4, 5-year-old, gets a handshake or a ball or an autograph. I mean, I know that's what grew me as a fan as a kid. I got to go. My dad was a big baseball fan. We went to a lot of minor league. I guess for some reason, minor league stadiums are typically, seems like they're wherever military bases are. So we always had a minor league team close. So we went to a lot of minor league games, got to see a lot of great players play on the way up and on the way down. And just got same thing, got to get autographs, and it really grew my love for the sport to this day. And so now when I take my kids, it's the same thing. And so that's a big deal. I think a lot of athletes have lost that realization, and I think it's starting to seem like it's coming back a little bit, which is nice.
Yeah, I think we just, especially in the baseball world, we got to figure out how we can connect with all different types of kids at the younger level. I think football and in the NBA does that really well. I just think baseball in general, MLB, they don't connect the players with the fans enough on the MLB side of it. I think you see some of the players connecting through social media now, but just little things like cleats, think about how big NBA shoes are. You have Jordan shoes. I tell people all the time, like, I think about it in my time when Griffey was coming around, like I had like 4 Griffey shirts. I had Griffey cleats. Mm-hmm. Like I never saw that really after Griffey for whatever reason. It was like something happened. I don't know what it was, but I didn't think it happened as much where like Griffey was the man. Like that dude stood out. Everybody loved Griffey. And, we need to do that more within the game of baseball. And one thing that was pretty cool that we did, and you're kind of talking about autographs, we had a player who was wearing a white arm sleeve. Okay. In his game, some of the guys wear arm sleeves, take care of their arm and stuff like that. So this one just happened to supposedly be white, and a little fan, he was like a 6 or 7-year-old kid, came up and said, hey, can I have your autograph? And this kid's name's Brian Encarnacion. And he said, only if I can have yours first. And so he ends up signing his arm sleeve, right?
That's awesome.
And so that actually started a tradition with all of our guys. So I'll get the guys white arm sleeves. And if they want to wear them, they don't have to wear them. But if they want to wear them, they can wear them. And then also they can get kids to sign their hat too. So some of our guys, like we got the banana hat on, like this hat on some of our guys, like it's all autographed out by little kids.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Cool.
So kids can actually watch on Bananas Insider our video stream, and they can see whoever, Bill Leroy or Kyle Louise, with all of their autographs either on their arm sleeve or on their hat, and so they're always talking about like, oh, I signed his arm sleeve. So that's a pretty cool scenario.
That's cool. It's almost like the like with the college football where they get the stickers for the tackles or whatever, but it's they're collecting the fans.
Autographs.
That's it.
I guess the closest
fans' first moment, man. Fans' first moments. That's what.
Heck yeah, man. That's awesome. I love it.
Really, the only thing, like especially with the netting now, it's hard for like the kids to get access to the players. Like is batting practice. I took my daughter to a White Sox game this summer, and we were standing in the outfield. And I come from a family of Cubs fans, and my father-in-law is a Cubs and an A's fan, and I just happened to be taking my daughter to her first major league game. They're playing the A's, and she decided she wanted to wear an A's shirt and an A's hat. So whatever, I was just happy she was going to the game. But we're standing in the outfield, and Andrew Chafin's right there. Yep. And I was holding my daughter up, and he got a ball and threw it to her, and she was like just tickled. Like that's really the closest experience there is in major league games now, is just maybe getting a ball during batting practice, like having that interaction. She waved at him and said hi and stuff, but it's little things like that like can plant the seed for them to grow. But there needs to be way more of that.
No doubt. And what we do with the Bananas, so we greet and de-greet after every game. So at 5:30 when the gates open, our entire team's out front, and we're singing songs and doing dances with the fans. So we have like choreographed dances that we do. And then after we finish and we count down the gates opening, so it's like 10, 9, 8. And when all the fans come in, we have this saying called H3. So H3 is either high fives, handshakes, or hugs. So when they come in, like you give them a handshake, you give them a high five, you give them a hug, welcome to the game. We give them the media guides. So we hand out media guides to them too as well. And that's where that's the first initiation. If you've never been to a game, you're like, man, all the players are here. I just high-fived all the players. It's a party already. It's at 5:30, and I'm about to walk in here and get free food and then go sit wherever I want. Another thing that kind of stands out that's I think is different than a lot of other sporting events is this whole fans first mentality is a part of our entire organization. So the people that are just day-to-day staff at home games, so we have 100 game day staff that come work for us, like ushers and concession workers and stuff like that. So the ushers know that, like, when they're in the stands and if they hear like a little girl saying, "Oh, Mom, I wish I could have an autograph," they have the okay basically to come down into the dugout, get a baseball, have all of our players sign it, and then take it up there to that little girl.
Oh, that's dope.
Wow.
So that happens all the time, you know. And another cool thing I think from a culture standpoint that our front office, our ownership group that they've done is after each game, we have we call it the stadium club. You guys got me.
Yeah, I can hear you. I got some weird feedback though. Do you have feedback,
I had
Jems?
it too. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a little foggy, I would say.
I think it's good now.
Yep.
It's a little bit better. So the stadium club is where we kind of hang out after games and eat as an organization. And what we'll do is after everybody eats, we debrief. So we go over all the things that happened that night. And then we give shout outs. So usually there's probably about 30 of us over there, maybe about 40 people. And so we'll give shout outs to people that have done cool things that night. And then we'll tell stories about basically never forget moments, because we're all running around. Like there's all kinds of stuff going on. I never see stuff that happens in the stands really because I'm coaching. But when I stay after and I hear the debrief, I hear about, you know, some of my players doing, you know, creating never forget moments, or, somebody came to a game and they're from London and they flew over and here's the story. And so you hear all of these stories show up. And so I think the debrief is really cool. And our owner actually just finished his book of basically all the fans first stories that have happened over this last 6 years. And that book's going to come out like in May. And it's about all the fans first moments that have happened in Banana Land. And that's our best marketing, is people leaving, you know, and telling the story about the never forget moments that they had at that game.
Yeah, no, it totally makes sense. It's a genius. I mean, genius the way it's put together. I mean, who wouldn't want to go? I mean, that makes the most sense. I mean, if you can say that about a business, who wouldn't want to go? Then you're obviously doing something right, you know. So
yeah, it sounds. My kids would love it. I know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I have a 5-year-old, and the babies probably wouldn't necessarily know what's going on yet, but they would love it. I mean, Tone's got young kids too. I mean,
yeah. And my kids go.
We need to do a meetup down in Georgia, and
we're gonna make this happen.
We just have to plan it like 2 years in advance.
Yeah.
No, I got you. You guys just let me know, and I'll get you tickets. How about
All right. We're definitely gonna have to make it happen for sure. I'm gonna hold you to that banana toss too. But
yeah,
I gotta cross something off my bucket list. Man, we appreciate your time, man. I thank you so much, and obviously we're gonna be we're Bananas fans. So, I mean, I'm buying a Bananas hat like tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a hat.
So even if my wife yells at me, I have too many hats, but I'm buying that one. So, so man, we appreciate it. Is there anywhere, I guess, like people can follow you? I know you said you had, you listen to podcasts. Do you have a podcast? Is there some place people can find you, either YouTube or anything like that?
Yeah, maybe Twitter. Twitter's the best place. At Gillum13 is my Twitter handle. That's where I'm most active. I've got a YouTube channel that I throw some baseball stuff on there too, a little bit. But mainly it's that Twitter page. And then I've got my own website called GillumBaseball.com, where I just host some of the information that I do, some of my infield clinics, and base running camps and stuff like that. So I've got some of my other podcasts that are on there that I've done.
Awesome.
So yeah, man, I appreciate you guys having me on. It's been fun, and love what you guys are doing, and keep sharing the good word, man.
Definitely, man. We appreciate it. And anytime you need anything, we feel free to reach out. I mean, we'll help how we can, and we're definitely fans. So we just become even bigger fans. So anything you need, you let us know.
Awesome. Well, come see us. Come see us.
Yeah,
we will.
Definitely. And I appreciate the ease of responding with you. That's 2 interviews we've had in a row now, back-to-back days, where you guys responded fantastically.
We appreciate
Sometimes
it.
It'll be like you send somebody a message like after they've responded, and it'll be like a month before you hear back again. But you and Brad Johnson were awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. That's awesome as well. Hopefully it's good, man, and you guys like it, and it's fun chopping it up with you guys.
Definitely, yeah. We'll definitely have to have you back on eventually to talk baseball, and everything else in between too. So I definitely want to hear all about. I could talk baseball all day. So if you ever want to talk baseball, feel free to hit us up.
Part 2 coming soon. Part 2.
There we go.
All right, man. You have a great one, and good luck on your season.
Tyler.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck.
I told you this was great. I told you. I don't lie. I'm not a liar.
That was
Great
awesome.
interview.
Like I said, the only thing that could have made it better is if my computer didn't freeze. But Tyler was awesome. He was a great interview. The bananas are incredible. I think anybody that is hearing us talk right now is going to be a Bananas fan.
For sure. I mean, and if you haven't seen it, and I know we have a sort of demographic of this podcast, a lot of people like comedy. If you like Bert Kreischer, you heard me mention him in here. Bert Kreischer taking batting practice with Savannah Bananas with no shirt on. Just go check them out on social media. Go check them out on social media. Check out all the places that you just heard Tyler tell you where he's at, because he's awesome. He's a great follow. And continue to come support Off the Rails. We're going to continue to get better. Much like the Savannah Bananas are fans first, we are fans first. So if you are listening to this, hit us up on social media at Off the Rails pod, at Off the Rails _pod. Tell us who you want, and we will try to get them on this show, because we will talk to any and everyone, because we love talking to people, especially if they're baseball people. But we love talking to people, and we're on a roll, Jems. We're on a roll.
We've been hustling. We've been grinding, getting some good interviews.
Definitely. Great people, too. So,
yeah,
we got more coming for you. And Jems, parting shots.
Thank you for listening. Rate, subscribe, review, follow all of our socials, follow all of Tyler's socials, follow the Bananas, follow South Mountain. Anything associated with this episode, follow, check it out. You will enjoy. Check out our old stuff, especially like our most recent old stuff.
Definitely.
Great.
For sure. Season 2 has been hot.
Yeah. We came out firing.
Well, we started right here. This is where season 2 started, right?
Yep.
Where I'm pointing.
There's the casting chair.
I almost just broke my arm.
The
that would have been
boxes are
hilarious.
still in the window to block the light from when we recorded.
They are actually. It works really well, surprisingly. Jems, you're like a brother to me. You're my best friend. I love you, man.
The same way.
Let's just keep crushing season 2. Thank you, Tyler, for coming on. And we will see you guys next week.
Yep. See ya.
Later.
Welcome off. See you